Do you live paycheck to paycheck? Well, your neighbor does. In today's video, we're going to look at the state of the economy, and I'm going to show you some official sources so that we can have a laugh together. And then we could look at the actual real evidence of what's going on. Because if we have both sides of the equation, we're going to know what the government, the businesses, the central banks are looking at to make decisions. And then we're going to be able to see what is actually going on Main Street. If you would walk down the street and start to talk to people, you talk to business owners, and you get the sense from the way things are operating, it is a complete departure from what they're telling us. Isn't that the way it's looking? You tell me. In today's video, we're going to break that all down. My name is David Quintiri, and what I do at this channel is I take all of this really complicated information, I take so much of it, and I funnel that down, and I make it very easy for everybody to understand so that they can make the best decisions for themselves and their families. I've been knee-deep in the trenches for well over a decade. In today's video, I'm not only going to tell you what's going on, I'm going to tell you what you've got to do, some tips and strategies. Let's begin by looking at what's happening paycheck to paycheck. 61% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Inflation is still squeezing the budgets. It isn't a surprise, obviously, to anybody that we are watching this going on, not just in the United States, but it's going on in Canada, it's going on all over the world, right? Dollar General, can you believe this? Dollar General stock tumbles after retailer misses earnings estimates and lowers guidance. The dollar store is having problems. When the dollar store has problems, you know there's an issue. There's a lot going on right now where people simply cannot afford the basic essentials. We're talking about the cheapest store available. It's the dollar store. Yes, there's different levels of dollar store and so on, but I think you get the point. It's a discount shopper. All right. Now you look at the data, it is obvious. It's telling us what's going on, and the problems are unavoidable. The economy is sick, and I will show you the data that proves it. These are just some facts. Jobs market is an absolute mess. Can you guess what food inflation they're telling us, the stats that they're telling us? Can you guess what food inflation is from July of last year to July of 2023? Okay, the year over year comparison. You could think to yourself what it is for you. If you look at your total, like, okay, I bought 2 bags of groceries, that cost, let's just say $50 last year. What is it this year? Or think about it from 2019 up until the present. After a few years, let's just say 3 years, what has the changes been for you? Well, I'm going to show you the data that's going to make you absolutely sick to your stomach. So take some gravel, take some Pepto-Bismol. We're going to move on into this, all right? It's crazy. Banks are still pulling from the emergency facility that was set up. Okay, that tells you something's going on here. Why are they still utilizing this? We are many, many months out. That was going on in March, and they said everything's fine. Why are the banks still taking from this facility? That's at a higher interest rate than the other ways that they can borrow. Something's going on. There's a lot of stress inside these markets. Now, what did you say that inflation was? Let me tell you this, okay? This is not me saying it, don't be angry at me. But in terms of food, 4.9%, but fruits and vegetables, 2.9. Okay, so when you factor in all food, that includes the oils, and the oils had this like huge surge, all right? But what I want to point to is the fruits and vegetables, 2.9% year over year. That is not true. That is absolutely not true. If something, for instance, was $2.99 last year, it's $3.99 this year. Okay, if it was $3.99, it's $4.99. Like everything at $1 on top of it, that's a fact. At least $1, at the very least. Nothing for the most part, unless you're getting very low quality fruits and vegetables. You can always find those. I go to the little market. I get what I can at this one place, local place, but that's definitely a lower quality when we're talking about the fruits and vegetables for the most part. And you got to pick and choose. You got to get the right ones. You got to know when the shipment comes in. I get direct from the source. I buy in bulk from them. So I know I've got that, but I look around and I see, and not a good scenario, okay? But you can work out a deal. I worked out a deal. You find the local shop. You say, if I come in all the time, I'll continue to give you that business, but you got to give me a discount. Most people don't even ask for that. You have to build a rapport with them. And that's important because they need your business. There's competitors everywhere. There's all these different competitors. You can't do that to the big businesses, but you can do that with the small business. Hey, I'll support you. I'll keep coming. But look at this. Come on. We got to do a deal here. Okay, that's what you've got to be aware of. A lot of people don't know that. All right, T-Mobile promised to add jobs after Sprint merger, but it cut thousands instead. 7%, by the way, of its workforce. Yeah, we're going to add jobs, okay? I promise. I promise you, if you allow us to merge, we're going to add jobs. It's going to be great for the economy. Sorry. It's not a recession, but yeah, we're just going to cut 7% of our jobs. This is what happens every time. What about this? 2023 jobs in the tech industry, 233,000 have been cut. It's, unbelievable. But these are all the things. And then look, you get the numbers, you get the data, and then what happens is they get revised, and they get revised down. In fact, every single time this year. All of the 2023 monthly jobs data was revised lower, and now all the housing data has also been revised, drum roll, lower. Think about that for a second here. Jobs data, housing data, all lower. But which information do you hear in the news? Do you think they're going to bring any? Oh, by the way, for the past 6 months, we've been telling you that everything is lower. It's not as good as it was higher. I'm sorry, it's actually lower. Never. Yeah, maybe at the back of the paper, maybe at the websites that nobody's looking at this point. They give you the headline information when it first comes out. It looks positive, and they know it's going to be revised lower tomorrow. All of that information, all of that to say, there's real stuff, there's the fake stuff, but always remember, I say it again and again, that if we're looking at the fake stuff, the manipulated stuff, it's because that's what businesses, central banks, the commercial banks, everybody involved, they're using that data. So we have to pay attention. We could ignore that and say, that's not the real stuff. Sure, for you, it doesn't affect you in that sense, but a business might say, we're in a recession right now, we're slashing jobs. Or they might, depending how they're going to react to that. You got to understand it, okay? So there's two pieces of data, and that's why we'll look at the data now. Here we are. Percentage difference between the median prices and real disposable personal income. So this is after taxes, DPI, okay? And you look at it, this is incredible. On a real DPI basis, home prices are roughly 80% above where they should be. 80%. So if you'll allow me to round this, double. Imagine, think of the home right now where you are. That's $1 million. That home should be more like $500,000. If it's 2 million, should be more like $1 million. That is wild. What does that mean? Overvaluation. A lot of people are getting the clicks by telling you that we're going to deflate massively in the major cities. We're going to experience this huge deflation, and home prices will come down by 50%, by 40%, whatever number they're shoving in your face. I see these people, and they're great. I just want to let you know that when you look at them, Nostradamus, he's done some great stuff, okay? But I'm not part of that crew, okay? I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but I can tell you what the Federal Reserve promises, and that is they will not allow deflation. So you can decide what you want to believe. There could be a moment of deflation. Things start to sink down, but already the Federal Reserve is essentially in preparation to get this going again and start to cut interest rates. They're not doing that. They're not necessarily saying that, but they're kind of hinting like, okay, when the time is right, we're going to cut interest rates. That is frightening because that's like taking gasoline and pouring it all over this fire. Crazy. Look at this. You can look at the inflation as measured by the PCE, Personal Consumption Expenditure, has basically been all like within this level since 2021. Okay, from 2021 up until today, the way that they measure that, it's still at the same level. I mean, to me, that shows there is this, and by the way, this is excluding housing. So that was the big one too, because those rent, mortgages, everything is going crazy. But even when you exclude it, it's still off the charts. Personal consumption expenditure. This is just looking at it, and you could see over the last while, year over year, and it has come up in the last little while. China's cutting their down payment and mortgage rates in a stimulus drive. So the same thing, trying to get that stimulus going. Many people are starting to say that China doing this is kind of the beginning of the next part of this cycle. I want to know what you think about that as well. They're hurting, no question about it. This is about rent control, and I wanted to touch on the fact that there's going to be, one side or the other. All I got to say is the more intervention that takes place, the worse things generally get. And there's going to be an intervention on a mass scale. And I believe they're going to do the rollout of a CBDC as well as universal basic income. UBI is something that many are waiting for and hoping for because it's going to be the solution to their problems. However, there will be strings attached. Don't forget that. Be very careful. Let's get prepared now. So hopefully we never have to use that UBI. So they don't have to give us the world coin, orb and make us scan our eyeballs. And the government, by the way, is able to access that information from the eyeball scans. Not good. And by the way, bankruptcy filings are very high. Haven't seen these levels since the financial crisis. But, here we go. And this is at a time in which, by the way, throughout 2020, they were just sending millions of dollars here, billions of dollars there to all of these different companies. And all kinds of companies got that money. All kinds of Nickelback got your money. Nickelback. Okay? So, I mean, it's just to see these things and the way that they do it, they do not care. What can you do? Don't just sit there. Don't be idle. You've got to take action. And there are simple things that don't even cost money that you could be employing right now today. And I'll just cover some of the basics. Number one, grow any food that you can. Number one, the health aspect. That's a no-brainer, but also the preparedness aspect. If you don't have an area to grow, maybe you have a friend, family member, coworker, somebody. You say, look, I'll build the whole garden for you. I'll do all of that effort for you. And, let me just come by and I'll take some stuff and I'll do that. And you can take whatever you want from it. I'm telling you, if people would actually suggest these things, but they're no, you know what? No. People would. People want that. They just don't want to do that initial effort. But you do all that initial effort and you could actually make this happen. But you should be doing it for yourself. If you have a backyard, I would actually recommend that. Look at fallingfruit.org. Or just type into a search engine, falling fruit. And this will bring up a website that will show you on like a Google map where all the different trees around your area are that have some sort of edible component. And you would be surprised. If you live in a very cold climate, you look around and those trees out there, those bushes out there randomly, they've got these weird berries on them. Those berries might actually be edible. And you could pinpoint that by looking at this website, Falling Fruit, and you could see for yourself. Okay, service berries. Service berries are everywhere. There's ginkgo that's in different places. People are paying money. They're going to the store, the health food shop. They're getting all these things when they're probably in your area. Falling fruit, okay? Check that out. And the last thing, put money aside by sharing with others. And one of the examples of a carpool. So maybe you are going in that same direction as somebody else. Why not be carpooling if you can? I know it's something simple, but think about that. There are things that you are using completely separate from somebody else, and meanwhile you could be sharing, and that allows you to then save. You save the money. Some people, they go to the farm, they go to the Amish, whatever it is, and they say, oh, I'm going to get this animal, we're going to cut it up, we're going to divide that up. It might be too big for one family, but if you can split that into 3 or 4, whatever the case is, well, then you can get a big discount. Share, put that money aside, do what you got to do. Look, on the Discord, this is the place you got to be. Over 1,200 people in here. I am bringing out the latest and greatest. And Compass, by the way, Compass is going to be released. The very first people are going to get it are in the Discord. So you want to get that. This is totally free. Hit the link in the description below. And don't forget the comment of the day. I didn't forget. Check it out. Eat My Oats has this to say. Thank you very much for your comment. Computer science college graduates automated applying detailed applications for 12,000 posted job openings, only 3 interviews. This mirrors multiple independent experiences. Even Chevron was running ads, and today they are just laid off huge percents. On the way out, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. And if you have any things you want to suggest to me, please let me know. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.